Hello, this is Mrs. Pickett, and we're going to take notes over lesson 1.5. Excuse me. So you either have this sheet copied out or printed out, or you can just copy this right into your notebook. So let's jump right in here. So lesson 1.5. My handwriting will get better, I promise. All right. So the other day we started talking about how to evaluate expressions, and we talked a little bit in class the difference between an expression and an equation. Equations have equal signs, expressions do not. And so today I'm going to give you a little, just remember variable terms, that's any term that has a variable in it. So it doesn't just have to be variables by itself. So if we look up here at this example, all right, so I'm looking at this right here, variable terms. You have a 7x, you have a minus 5x or negative 5x, and you have a 4x. Now notice something that's important here. The symbol that is in front of the number always goes with it. So like it's a plus 3, and then we have a negative 5x, okay? So whatever sign is in front of the term, that's what goes with it, okay? So our variable terms are 7x, a negative 5x, and a 4x. Constant terms, these are numbers without a variable, so just numbers on their own. So in this case, we have a 3, an 8, and a negative 1. And then coefficients, this is the number that is next to a variable. So when you have like an x or a y, the number that's in front of it, that is called the coefficient. So our variable terms were 7x, negative 5x, and 4x. So our coefficients are 7, negative 5, and 4, the numbers that are in front of your variables. So just to understand some vocabulary, you should know what a variable is, what a constant is, and what a coefficient is, okay? Now if we continue, today we're going to talk about combining like terms. So it's very important that we know all this because variable terms, they are like, they all go together. Constant terms all go together, okay? So when we are simplifying by combining like terms, okay, and you can see this, that means that variable terms go together, constant terms. So if we simplify the expression that I was working on, okay, so remember we had a 7x, a minus 5x, and a 4x. So I highlighted them all in yellow. Those all go together. So when we combine them, we're going to add them together using the sign that's in front. So I have a 7x minus 5x, okay? So I'm doing the 7 and the 5. That's going to give me 2x plus another 4x. So that would simplify down to 6 x's. I combined all of my x's. Now if I look at my constants, I had a plus 3, a plus 8, and a minus 1. So 3 plus 8 is going to give me 11. Minus 1 will give me 10. So that's going to give me a positive 10. This expression would be simplified. Notice when I stop, I don't have like an equals and then some number. That may not happen today because we're not working with equations. We're just simplifying down to as simple as we can go, but remember we have to use like terms, okay? The 6x and the 10 here, they do not match, so we have to stop right there. 6x plus 10 would be our answer. So let's try some examples. So if we look at number 1, I have 3x and 6x. They both are variable terms, so I can combine them together. So I'm going to do 3 plus 6, and that is going to give me 9x. And that's all I would do. I would be done. If I go to problem 2, all right, so we have 9a minus 10a. They both have an a, so we can subtract them. 9 take away 10 is going to leave a negative 1a, or you can just write it as negative a. It means the same thing. Number 3, so now if we're looking, 7 minus 5, those go together. So that's going to give me 2m, and then I have this minus 6. Notice we cannot combine them. One has an m and one does not, so they're not like terms. Number 4, so now my like terms, I have a constant 9 and a plus 5. So those can get added together. So I have a negative 6w, usually you write your variable term first, plus 14. Okay, if we look at number 5, we have, oops, let me highlight here, 7p minus 9p, so that's going to give me a negative 2p. And then we can also, we have a negative 1 plus 5, so 5 minus 1 is going to give me a positive 4. So all I'm doing is combining my like terms, the things that match. So 5h plus 7h, those two go together. So that's going to give me 12h. And then I have a minus 6 and a minus 8. So we can combine those to give me a negative 14. And then the last couple here, if we combine our like terms, I have a 7x minus x plus 3x. Okay, so all the x's go together. So 5 minus 1 is going to give me 4x, plus 3 more would give me 7x. And then the other like terms, I have a 7y and a 2y. So I'm going to add my y values together. So that would give me plus 9y. So I would have 7x plus 9y. That was kind of messy. And that would be my answer, because even though x and y's are both variables, it's a different variable, so you can't combine them together. Okay, and then the last one here, so I had 26a minus 4a. So 26 minus 4 is going to give me a 22a. And then 2b plus 10b, so we're going to add that together and get 12b. All right, again, a and b are not like terms. Okay, let's jump to the next page. Same thing, I'm just going to add in some exponents. We may not do all of these examples here. So now, terms with the same exponent or combinations of variables and exponents are considered like terms. So now if you look, before it was just an x. So now we're looking at if I have an x squared and an x squared, those match. So I can combine them together. So 5x squared plus 7x squared is going to give me 12x squared. Notice when I'm adding together, all I'm adding are the coefficients. The variables and the exponents do not change at all when you're combining like terms. All you combine are the coefficients, the numbers that are in front. Okay, if we look at number 10, we have an n to the fifth and an n to the fifth. So those match. So negative 15 plus 4 is going to give me a negative 11n to the fifth. Okay. If we look at 11, I have an 8c to the third minus 7c to the third plus 16c to the third. So those all match. 8 minus 7 is going to be 1 plus 16 is going to give you 17c to the third. As they start getting a little more difficult, now we have k squared and a k squared. So we get 8 minus 2, which would be 6k squared. And then we have just a k and just a k. Those are different now. So that's going to give me negative 6k, because 5 minus 1. And then we still have a third term here left that is just a constant, and that'll be plus 7. So on this one we have 6k to the second minus 6k plus 7. Okay? Let's jump down here and look at one of these. So it says give the perimeter of each figure as a simplified expression. So now we're going to take what we're learning and actually apply it to some like real life type problems. So if we have a triangle and I want to find perimeter, perimeter is the distance around the outside. So we have to add them all up. So I'm going to do 2x plus 1, that's one side, plus an x, that's the next side, plus 3x. Okay? Now I just put them in parentheses so you could see each side. So we want to do the same thing that we've been doing. We're going to combine like terms. So we're going to do 2x. Whoops. Yeah, I didn't mean to highlight all that. Let's try this again. 2x plus 1. So we're going to do 2x plus 1x plus 3x. So I can add all my x's together. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 3 more. That gives me 6x. And then I have this plus 1 that's left over. So I'm going to do plus 1. So my perimeter would be 6x plus 1, and I would leave it just like that. Okay? Let's do one more of these. So now, if I do all the sides, so I have 17 minus a, that was one side, plus 5a minus 1, there's a second side, plus 4ab. Okay? Oops, I don't need to put a parenthesis there. Let's try writing that a little nicer. So the last one was 4ab. Again, you're going to look to combine like terms. So I have a minus 1a and a 5a right there. So 5 minus 1 is going to give me 4a. Then I had a constant 17 and a negative 1. So 17 minus 1 is going to give me 16. And then the last thing I have is right over here, this 4ab. So that would be plus 4ab. Now I'm going to rewrite this. Usually you write all your variables first. So we'd have a 4a plus 4ab plus 16. And you would leave your answer just like that because they are not all like terms. Okay? All right. So for your flip grid tonight, I want you to do two things for me. If you look back up here, I want you to pick one of these problems. So you can choose anything from 13 through 16 for your flip grid. Pick one of them to solve for me. And then I want you, and actually that's it. For your flip grid, you just need to solve one of them. We're going to do these bottom two. We'll do that in class tomorrow. So 19 and 20 we'll do in class tomorrow together. For your flip grid, you're going to pick one of these that I left blank. So 13, 14, 15, or 16. Pick one and explain it to me, okay? All right, I hope you have a great night, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.